200 million Pi network tokens just got moved in what could be the biggest OTC purchase we've seen in months, and the technicals are screaming that a 160% breakout might be imminent with Pi Day 2 just around the corner. What's up, Gold Rush family? I'm your host, Gold Rush, and welcome back to another high-energy episode of Gold Rush Crypto Daily, where we dig deep into the stories that could make or break your crypto portfolio. Today, we're diving into not one, but two absolutely fascinating developments in the Pi network ecosystem that have the community buzzing. We're talking massive whale movements, bullish technical setups, and upcoming catalysts that could send Pi to the moon or leave it buried in the dirt. Before we jump in, if you're not already part of the Gold Rush family, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because we're about to unpack some serious alpha here, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Let's start with this interesting article from Crypto News that's got my technical analysis senses tingling. The headline reads, Pi Network Price Prediction. Technicals hint at possible 160% breakout. And folks, when I see numbers like that, I pay attention. Now, I'll be honest with you. Pi Network has been flatter than a pancake in June while the rest of the crypto market has been partying. As you can see in this article, Pi coin was trading at 63 cents on Tuesday, June 10th, exactly where it's been parked since May 31st. That's a 62% drop from its March highs, and we're talking about a token that's sitting way below its all-time high of $3. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is why I love technical analysis. Sometimes the most boring price action sets up the most explosive moves. The article points out that the 12-hour chart is suggesting a potential short squeeze scenario. Look at this. The Bollinger Bands are tightening up like a coiled spring. When those three lines start squeezing together, it means volatility is drying up, and in crypto, low volatility often precedes massive moves. The historical example they give here is perfect. Back in May, we saw the exact same setup lead to a 175% surge that took Pi to $1.66. That's the kind of move that turns small positions into life-changing money. People. And get this. The historical volatility indicator has crashed to 22.24, its lowest level since May 7th. We're talking about a drop from 356.87 just last month. That's like going from a Category 5 hurricane to dead calm seas. The average true range, another volatility measure I watch religiously, has fallen to just 0.025. Now here's the technical pattern that really caught my eye. Pi Network has formed what's called a double bottom pattern. For those new to technical analysis, this is like finding gold in the crypto charts. We've got support at $58.50, and the neckline resistance sits at $1.67. If this pattern plays out, and the article suggests it could, we're looking at targets of $1 and that neckline at $1.67. That's 57% and 160% gains respectively from current levels. But wait, there's more. Let's talk catalysts because technical setups without fundamental drivers are like having a sports car with no gas. First up, we've got the broader crypto bull run lifting all boats. Social media activity is picking up too. Sentiment data shows social dominance rising to 0.276%, the highest since May 21st. And here's the big one. Pi Day 2 is coming up on June 28th. This isn't just some random date, folks. This marks the end of the .pi domain auction and the open network Pi Fest. The Pi community treats this like Christmas morning, and historically, these events have been catalysts for significant price movements. The article also mentions something that could be absolutely massive: exchange listings. They cite examples like Orca jumping 200% after the Upbit listing. Can you imagine what would happen if Pi got listed on a major exchange like Binance? We could be looking at multiples of these technical targets. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The bears have their say too. If Pi breaks below support at $54.97, this whole bullish thesis goes out the window, and we could see a drop toward the all-time low of 40 cents. Now, speaking of massive moves and catalysts, let's dive into our second article from Crypto Times that dropped today and has the Pi community absolutely losing their minds. The headline screams 200 million Pi network tokens removed from liquidity reserve. And when I read this, my first thought was, somebody just made a massive bet on Pi Network. As you can see in this article, 2 million Pi tokens. Wait, let me correct that. We're talking about 200 million Pi tokens here. Were moved from a liquidity reserve to a new wallet. Moon Jeff, who's got his finger on the pulse of these movements, believes this was an over-the-counter purchase. That means someone bought these tokens privately, away from public exchanges. Think about this for a second. In traditional markets, when we see massive OTC purchases, it's usually institutional money or high-net-worth individuals making strategic accumulations. They don't want to move the market while they're building their position, so they buy in the shadows. The fact that someone just bought 200 million PI tokens suggests there's serious money betting on Pi Network's future. According to this article, Pi is currently trading around $64.18, showing a 1.78% increase in the last 24 hours. Now, that might not sound like much, but in the context of this massive token movement, it could be the calm before the storm. Moon Jeff is calling for Pi to hit $1.20, which he sees as a key resistance level. His prediction? If Pi can break through that level, we could see it march toward $2. Now, some folks in the comments are being sarcastic about Jeff's optimism, but let me tell you something. In crypto, the biggest gains often come when sentiment is at its darkest. The timing here is absolutely crucial. We're just 17 days away from Pi Day 2 on June 28th, and the community is expecting major announcements. There's speculation about a potential Binance listing, which would be absolutely game-changing for Pi Network. Can you imagine the FOMO that would create? But it's not all rainbows and moonshots. The article mentions some concerning issues that we need to address. Dr. Altcoin is criticizing the Pi team for not delivering enough value or clear updates. There are also complaints from Pi pioneers who completed their KYC verification but still haven't received their tokens. These are real concerns that could weigh on the project's long-term success. Here's my take on connecting these two stories. We've got a perfect storm brewing. The technical analysis from the first article shows us that Pi is coiled and ready for a massive move. The whale accumulation from the second article suggests smart money is positioning for something big. And with Pi Day 2 just around the corner, we have the catalyst that could ignite this powder keg. If you're holding PI tokens, this could be your moment. If you're not, you might want to pay attention to what happens over the next few weeks. But remember, and this is crucial, always manage your risk. Set your stop losses, don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and never let FOMO drive your investment decisions. The crypto market is unforgiving, but it's also where fortunes are made for those who do their homework and position themselves correctly. Based on these articles, Pi Network is setting up for what could be its biggest move in months. Before we wrap up, let me get your thoughts in the comments. Are you bullish on Pi Network? Do you think that 200 million token move was smart money positioning for Pi Day 2? And what's your price target if this technical breakout actually happens? I read every single comment, so drop your thoughts below. If this analysis helped you understand what's happening with Pi Network, make sure to smash that like button. It helps the algorithm share this content with more crypto enthusiasts who need to see it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Gold Rush Crypto Daily and ring that notification bell, because we're dropping daily analysis on the hottest crypto stories that could impact your portfolio. Also, make sure to check out my recent video on the latest Bitcoin developments. I'll drop a link in the description. The crypto space moves fast, and staying informed is the difference between catching the wave and watching it from the shore. Finally, let me be crystal clear about something. Nothing I've shared today constitutes financial advice. I'm sharing my analysis and opinions based on the information available, but you need to do your own research and make your own investment decisions. Crypto is volatile, risky, and you could lose everything, so please invest responsibly. That's a wrap on today's Pi Network Deep Dive. The next few weeks could be absolutely crucial for this project, and I'll be watching every development closely. Stay tuned, stay informed, and as always, keep digging for that crypto gold. Peace out, Gold Rush family.